here with my two buddies, my two buddy old pals, Matt and Cross.
What the fuck is poppin'?
Hello, I am Crossstar, the man who exists beyond time and space.
What scares you, Cross?
I mean, wasn't that last week's topic?
Ah, dude, yeah, we should have mentioned that. Should have mentioned how much you terrify me with your existential dread.
Hey, guess what? A little bit of existential dread is good for you, I think. Maybe, possibly. Listen, I have a lot of pent-up feelings.
And
A little bit of dread in my life.
You shut up before we get copyrighted.
By my side.
A little existentialism's all I need.
Also, Historical's probably going to show up soon. Just be patient. He's fighting off a communist right now. There you go. That's what he's doing. Sure.
Well, you're the one who made me say this. Kami!
Yeah, go get him.
World star.
Holy shit, he actually did it. Speaking of things that are terrifying, aside from U.S. presidents, horror movies, right?
Yeah, boy.
Good transition. I'm gonna pat myself on the back.
We're living in a horror movie, am I right, gamers? Haha!
Gamer!
Shut the fuck up.
Gamers!
Gamer!
This isn't about horror games, it's about horror movies. Come on.
Yeah, but we're all gamers.
I'm not. I'm gay.
So horror movies. I think we already had a topic similar to this before in the past, where I believe I talked about some of the basics of horror analysis
Mm.
from a film perspective with, repression and everything.
It was
right.
The monster one, I think.
Yeah, we talked about monsters there. Yeah. Big crossover there with horror and everything. Did I talk about the theory of what is it called again? When you do something to like release stress? What is that called again?
Venting?
No, similar to that.
Catharsis?
Catharsis, yes, the theory of catharsis. Did I talk about that?
I don't remember if you did, but just give me a refresher.
A refresher for the theory of catharsis was that essentially that these horror films work as a cathartic release for our own pent-up emotions and aggressions in a safer space. Some people find it cathartic to experience fear, and thus finding it in a safe area, aka a cinema theater, becomes a cathartic release for these emotions. And even then, on top of that, it could be more violent emotions for people who like to see, go to horror to witness the gore and the fear and the dread. It becomes a catharsis, essentially, to be like, hey, for different reasons, of course, it operates cathartically, but one way would just be like going there and being like, hey, these guys are getting fucking axe murdered. I'm not. My shit ain't that bad. or other things like that.
Oh, what? You think you have it bad?
You think you have it
You
bad?
think you... This man got axed in his own dreams!
Oh,
That's
God.
true.
I feel like stuff on the topic of dreams, though, and cathartic, I feel like comedy also blends really well with horror in that sense, because it kind of releases another emotion at the same time. And ironically, Nightmare on Elm Street started to do that over the years. Maybe not at first, but as it went along, it started to.
Like the first two movies were like legit pretty fucking serious for the most part.
Well, yeah, I would say, but there were hints. There were hints of what would come eventually.
At the very least, the first movie had the hints. The second movie is by far like probably the most serious Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Like Freddy does not have a lot of quips or one-liners in that movie.
Which,
Right.
helped, I guess. But as you see something more and more, it does make something less scary. So I guess it makes sense that he became less scary as the films went on, at least from the audience's
Right.
perspective.
Mhm.
It was more like,
I
haha,
feel-
funny gardener man, do a funny quip as he murders a child.
Do funny,
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
haha, funny garden pedophile man.
No, that's the remake. That's the remake. That's the remake. That's the remake.
That's only in the remake.
No.
It's implied in the originals. It's implied, but it's never outright stated.
The remake out states it.
Yeah, the remake outright says that he has fucking pictures of it, which is, it's an uncomfortable type of horror, I guess. If you want to look at it like that,
I don't know if I'd go so far as to call it horror.
it gives you an uncomfortable feeling, which is somewhat connected to fear, I guess. Also, hi
Right.
Alex, nice to see you on the stream. Came in at an
Oh.
interesting moment as we were talking about pedophile gardeners.
What's poppin'?
Gardeners.
That's the name of my new band.
Gardeners. I don't know how great that's gonna go, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
Hey, it's historical.
It's
historical
the,
shit, too.
in fact, historical man.
It is the current reigning Uwu champion.
I have just arrived back from hell. How's everything been?
Yeah, how was school?
Oh no.
Horrible.
No, we just revealed that he goes to school. No.
Oh no! How people will be able to find him.
Poor
They'll
bastard.
But
They're going to go on the deep web and find him, like in my favorite movie, Unfriended.
Oh, stop! Stop it!
It wasn't that
Don't-
bad. wasn't.
I didn't like it.
It wasn't
Listen,
that
Okay.
bad.
I don't want to say I hate you, but let's just not talk about that
It
film. How about
wasn't
that?
that bad.
It's still not great, and I don't
Uh,
want to talk about it.
People say the sequel is better. I've never seen it.
I don't.
I've never seen the sequel, but I have zero interest in the sequel after that first movie.
It wasn't that. I thought it was good. Come on.
Mate, you
It's-
can fucking think that all you want. That's your fucking prerogative.
Okay.
The movie
well,
seems to be so obsessed with like realism, but it's like so fucking not realistic at all.
I don't know. I feel like seeing a bunch of douchebags getting killed makes me feel.
Cathartic.
Yeah. Thanks,
Hey!
Cross. Thanks. You're backing me up now.
I'm not backing you up. I'm just fucking plugging in whatever I can.
Fuck you.
I love you.
I was
Love
going
you
to
too.
say, Kaiju, real quick,
Yeah.
before we continue. I have indeed finished Berserk.
We'll have
I mean, nobody's finished Berserk. Miura hasn't finished Berserk.
I've caught up.
Well, we'll talk about that after the podcast, but I have a lot.
That's horror
I have a
reference.
lot. I've had to hold in. Trust me.
I can let it all out.
Finally. But maybe there's a horror movie that we agree on. Throw some out there. Throw some out there.
Horror movies that we can all enjoy.
Yeah. How about that?
The Blob. I like that one.
I don't know if it was enjoyable.
It was a good movie.
It was okay.
I got one. The
How about the-
motherfucking
Gee, I sure wonder what Matt's going to mention.
fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre, baby!
Yeah.
That is like my favorite fucking horror movie, and I honestly did not expect it to like stick with me so much after I first watched it. Because I watched it first time being with drunk friends, and that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that film is fucking brutal. Like it. That film is quite pivotal for the bringing about of what would become the generic horror conventions of what was that 1970s horror.
Yeah, I would say. I think it was the 70s or 80s.
What was the year that it was released?
I have the fucking DVD of it, but it's the goddamn steelbook, so there's no information, so I have to look it up.
No,
Bitch.
1974. Yes, part of it was bringing up. Well, part of it was the purpose of the rise of the slasher film, but also specifically grounding horror more in the real life. Before 50s, 60s, even a lot of it would be, if horror was a thing, it would be an extraterrestrial, a ghost, anything that wasn't particularly human per se. Not to say that there weren't horrors that featured humans in them, or that featured like actual people or more of a grounded approach, but this was where it started taking on stronger generic convention, especially due to the fact that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a film immediately, with its opening credits, grounds you in a kind of reality, as the opening credits, if you all can recall, is a newsreel. It's talking about how things are going, what's going on in the world. Shit's fucked. There's tons of like disturbing newsreel footage, and it's talking about as well at points like, hey, people are stealing, graves, or they're robbing graves. They're taking bones and stuff away. And so immediately the film is going after this aesthetic of a kind of realism, where the horror is not situated in the other supernatural, but rather the horror is more intimate with our own existence. The horror is another person. Or person.
And another thing about that movie is just like, again, how fucking realistic it was because of how unpleasant it was to film.
Ooh, it was very unpleasant to film, and it was unpleasant to watch.
Oh yeah, do you guys know the scene of Leatherface cutting open the girl's finger?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you guys know the behind the scenes fact about that scene?
No.
Okay, so the plan was the knife had a piece of tape on it to cover the blade. Gunnar Hansen, the actor playing Leatherface, was going to glide it across her finger, and then they were going to shoot blood out of a tube. That tube malfunctioned. Because of the hot Texas sun, the fake blood clotted and blocked up. So Gunnar Hansen said, fuck it, removed the tape, and actually cut her finger.
My God.
I think the film as well, maybe this might just be rumors, because these kinds of films have tons of rumors that circulated, might have also been investigated, I believe, at one point by the police or by FBI or something because of its use of special effects. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but that's one of the rumors that I believe circulated around the film post-release.
Afterwards, if I remember correctly, it was the health department actually had to come investigate it, believe it or not.
That makes sense.
Because it's like, oh, we heard there was some shady dealings go on behind the scenes. We're gonna go investigate this to make sure nobody's going to make sure everything's fine. And if not, we're gonna call the police department.
Yeah, that's probably where the rumor started then. Also, the fact that they used actual fucking bones in the house.
Oh yeah, do you guys know how many bones were used in that movie?
How many was it? Because I know most of the things in there were.
I think it was over 500.
Okay. It was over 500 bones, but do you know how many of those were fake?
0, I think.
10. Exactly 10 bones were plastic.
Guess that.
It was much cheaper. It was way cheaper to buy real-ass human skeletons in bulk from India than it was to buy realistic plastic props.
Wait, those are real human skeletons?
Those are real human skeletons from India.
Oh my god.
Another scene I would like to point to towards horror being grounded more in the reality has to be the scene where it's the second kill of the movie, I believe, or maybe it's the first kill of the movie, with the couple that are going to the lake to skinny dip or something, and then they come across the Leatherface's house. I forget what the family's name is.
Sawyer.
The Sawyer house, and he goes inside and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And that huge door in the back slides open, and Leatherface just clonks him on the head, and he falls to the ground and just starts spasming and twitching.
And he just drags him in and slams the door shut without There's no music cue. There's like no suspense building up. It's just boom, he's dead.
And hands down, the shot of him slamming the door is one of my favorite scenes in all of cinema.
And it is that scene that really drove home this kind of grounding, because it isn't this over dramatized death, even with like, excessive blood or gore or whatever. That scene terrified a lot of people because of how real it felt. He gets clonked on the head, and you can visualize with him spasming on the ground the fact that this guy's has shards of his skull poking at random parts of his brain. He's gone into a seizure and a death thrall. And it's fucked. I don't know how that guy acted that. I don't know how he managed that, but that shit was fucked.
The cast of that movie was so good.
Well, they were also stressed out of their minds, which I think, ironically, benefited to the stressful scenes, because the fucking dinner scene took days, I think, right?
Oh, I think, but like, fuck. And I'm surprised. What surprises me about that dinner scene is like how good the shots like of the eyes and shit are, even though it was 1974. Like that shit still looks good, like on fucking Blu-ray.
Exactly.
I mean, cameras were actually capable of very high quality.
You don't expect
Nothing
that.
beats film. Nothing really beats film.
Yeah.
Digital cameras may be good, but like film is so fucking good.
Well, the thing is that film as well has a different quality to it. Like, quite literally, film has a different quality to it because of how it's set up. When you have a digital image, it's pixels and all that, whereas when you have film, the crystals and everything that are actually imprinting upon the image are far more random and archaic, which is why film ends up having a different texture when you view it.
Right.
Huh. I didn't know that about film, actually.
Yeah, that's why when you watch a film that's shot digitally versus a film that's filmed more so on
Film.
on film, yeah, I guess you can't really tell necessarily. Like if I were to show you a shot and be like, was this shot on film or digital, you may not necessarily be able to distinguish it, but if you were to put them side by side, you could feel that there's something different to it.
Okay, so it's kind of like a different, I don't want to say taste, but taste.
It is a texture.
Okay.
I will say, I don't want to keep this conversation on Texas Chainsaw for too long because as much as I love it, I know you guys want to talk about other things. But if you ask me, no series has suffered with the sequels as much as my boys have.
Oh.
Fuck, okay. Texas Chainsaw 2 is good. Kai likes to think it's a dream.
I feel like it makes more sense as a dream. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying it makes more sense as a dream.
The third one was forgettable. Every other movie was forgettable. The remake was okay, but the sequel was unnecessary. Fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4 is one of the worst fucking horror movies I have ever fucking watched.
So I'm so mad about that.
Because it's a fucking disgrace to the series!
You can see how much he holds this to his heart. Although, Matthew, I think no, because this series has actually had a redemption. Halloween had a pretty shaky road, don't you think, guys? Don't you think?
I've never watched Halloween.
How the
For real?
fuck have you never watched Halloween?
Because there's a billion other fucking movies that I've watched in the meantime.
Man, you gotta see. I'm
Cracking up.
so fucking shocked.
That is the biggest thing with being somebody who's studied film, is some people get seriously shocked when I haven't seen certain things, which makes sense because you would think Halloween is a very popular film, both critically and commercially. It's a good movie. I've just never had the chance to see it and not really bothered to see it.
I highly fucking recommend it because I feel like it is the epitome of what a slasher movie should be and what most horror movies, for the most part, should be in some way. Because, in Texas Chainsaw, sure, it's graphic, it's brutal because it's real. but when something is real, you understand it more. And when you understand something more, it makes it a little less scary. But Halloween's killer, Michael, in the first movie, I'm just going to specify this in the first fucking movie, you don't really understand him. Some of the things feel real, but you don't understand why he's doing what he's doing. His motive, what he's actually like, you don't understand anything about it. That's why his nickname is The Shape. It seems like a lack of humanity is taken away. And
I don't know who I am or why I'm here. I know I must kill.
yeah, that's it. That's it. And when the doctor describes him as having the blackest eyes, something like the pits of hell, and the movie, mind you, the movie always seems to make sure that you never actually see his eyes, which I think is extremely important because it really drives home that speech that he had, because it makes you feel that sense of dread that he was talking about. And if you ignore all of the other movies, the fact that he's going after, I think Lori, I think that's her name.
Yeah,
Laurie
Laura.
Strode.
Yeah, the fact that he's going after Lori for no other reason other than she was walking one day makes it just real enough that you feel a little sick. Because, real murders sometimes do happen like that. People get killed just because they're in the wrong place.
Isn't it also because?
Yeah,
wasn't it also kind of because she lived in the same house as him, or was that something else?
I think they implied that, but I feel like for the most part, it was always, in the first movie anyway, it was just implied that because she was walking one day and her friend called out to him in the car, that's why he chose to come after them.
I mean, yeah, it's a psycho, as Alex says, it's a psycho with the mind of a child.
Ugh.
And on top of that, that doesn't even parallel too far away from what we know of actual serial killers within a popular psyche. Who was it, that one serial killer who claimed that he would never kill, the only people he killed were people who left their doors unlocked?
Richard Ramirez.
Oh, God.
Richard Ramirez. He would say that he would walk up to a door and he would jostle the knob. If it's locked, he'd go the fuck away because that meant they didn't want him. But in his head, if you left your door unlocked at night, you were inviting him in.
That is why I fucking lock my door every time I go home from work.
Every night,
So he-
lock that bitch.
So he's not breaking and entering. He's not bursting in people's homes. He's like, well, they left their doors unlocked. If you didn't want to let just anyone into your house at night, why would you leave your door unlocked?
If you didn't want to get fucking murdered, then why did you live in a house?
I mean, it's not even necessarily that. He's not even like, if you didn't want me to kill you. He's just like, no, you left your door unlocked. That means I can go in. Because if you didn't want to if you wanted privacy and to not let people in your house, you would have locked your door.
Ugh.
It's a malicious kind of anti-logic. Or not even necessarily an anti-logic. It's not counter to logic, but a malicious kind of other logic, where you can understand the thinking of it from a purely logical perspective. You're like, yeah, that can make sense, but it's such an other way of applying these principles and ignoring certain other things. Maybe they could have forgotten it, or simply put, it just slipped their mind. But there's a weird, strange sense where you can kind of understand that. And in the case of something like Halloween, it would be when they go off and how much of he is with the mind of a child and everything. And I've never seen the films themselves. I want to specify that, but I have seen plenty of critical review of it and critical discussion of it. You can kind of, if you want to play it of the mind of the child, you can sort of understand why he's chasing after her.
Oh my God,
It's even more disturbing.
yeah, it just makes you feel sick, and that's why I like horror, because it makes you feel an emotion that you don't typically feel in everyday life, right? Right, Historical?
Yeah, I was going to mention there is one movie in particular that you brought up that it makes you feel uneasy.
Mm-hmm.
The Vivitch or The Witch
It's
Ooh,
just
Oh,
Witch.
ooh.
or Witch.
I,
It has
I
a few
like to
names.
pronounce it as Vitch
I am just gonna save a bitch for the rest of the time we talk about it.
or the bitch.
Bitch of a witch.
But yeah, go ahead.
What I liked about that movie is for a lot of it, you don't actually see a, a witch. If I remember correctly, it's mostly just a family out in the fucking wilderness.
Fucking losing it.
Yeah, absolutely losing it because in their eyes, at least, they're being cursed. And at the end of the movie, it's revealed they are cursed. They were cursed.
But for
But
the
Honestly,
most part, you don't really see that, and you just see them losing it.
yeah,
Which,
over a goat appearing.
yeah, over a
like,
goat
see,
and bad crops.
I specifically remember when something I really like about that movie is like how it almost makes you like how it makes you feel about the characters in that movie. Because I specifically remember my first time watching it, I was thinking like at the scene where like the dad is outside on his knees, fucking screaming at God, like, "Please help my family." I was like, God, I like this guy. I want to see him like pull through. And then the immediate next scene, he's throwing his daughter into the shed, like, okay,
Oh,
I mean, the thing about that movie is, well, Kai, explain first. I'll tell you more about the movie.
are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I was just going to say that it gives all of the people in that movie a very human element in that every single person in there is inherently flawed, or to be more specific with the film's themes, inherently sinful. So, like the father, he clearly has wrath, the sons, they have lust, the mother has like envy, and the daughter is arguably the most pure of them all, but because she's the last one left and because she went through the most trauma, she's the one that gets corrupted in the end.
Yeah, the classic corrupting trauma thing.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, it's come from the offer of butter. Would you like
still
some
like
butter?
the taste of butter. That scene was fucking rad.
Well, it's because I feel like they pulled off the voice perfectly. Like, it's inviting
that's-
enough that if you were desperate enough, you'd be invited, but it's clearly unsettling.
Like it's the perfect subversion of expectations. Like you're almost expecting like a jump scare or something like that. But no, it's a fucking ASMR basically.
I mean,
Lucifer should run an ASMR channel.
I'd subscribe to them. I'd donate to the Patreon.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't like the main? Oh, yeah,
Go ahead,
I was
go
gonna
ahead,
go
go ahead.
about that movie. Is what impressed me most is it managed to do horror with the most minimalistic lighting I've ever seen in a film.
Oh, and it was completely on purpose too.
Yeah.
Could you? I've not seen the film. I've been planning on watching it.
There's no artificial lights.
Yeah, no
It's
artificial
all
lights.
So by minimalistic, you mean natural?
Yeah.
exactly
Okay.
like it's
Okay.
daylight or
all-
candles.
It's all daylight or candles. Like no like spotlights or anything.
Yeah, that is referred to as natural light.
It's
My bad.
it's a very
You
grounded
don't have to say
looking
my
movie.
bad. You haven't done anything wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
you do
well,
everything wrong, Historical. How fucking dare you? Would you like
Natural light. It's a good filming technique and it's a shitty beer.
I've never drank beer, so they're all shitty. But yeah, the lighting in that movie gives it a very authentic feel, and generally everything about the movie gives that same feeling because they talk the way people back then talked. It looks the way the places looked back then. Everything is to the time, so it's very historically accurate, which I know makes Historical happy.
okay, I would want to say even the premise of 1830s Puritans kicking out a member of the community out so they have to live in the what effectively is the fucking wilderness, right?
Yeah.
That happened frequently. Well, not too frequently, but that did happen. Because if you're not faithful enough to God in the Puritan household, right?
Right?
Or worse, you're a Catholic sympathizer.
Ugh, the Catholics.
You were immediately booted out of the colony and basically just
I-
forced to live on your own.
Although I will say,
Go ahead.
no, you go first. You go first.
Okay, I was just going to say, to build on that, the things that the witches and, the devil, I guess, actually does in that movie fits what they believed witches were like at the time. So, like, for example, kidnapping children, using the blood to gain the ability of flight.
One of the other ones is their use of what's called the familiar, like just an
Mhm.
animal, like a
Black
pit,
Phillip.
yeah, goats were one of the most frequent ones. There was there was only one exception that there's according to the church, only one animal couldn't be a familiar.
A lamb.
No,
Oh.
a
Nope.
lion.
Hell
Right. Because the lion was a symbol
The
for
crown.
the crown, yeah.
And the crown can't be unholy.
No.
Right? Right? What were you going to say, though, Matthew?
Oh, I was just gonna transition to something else if you didn't
Oh.
mind. So,
Well,
Lighthouse is, not Lighthouse, but damn it, The Witch is a fantastic movie, but if you ask me, I prefer the other movie by the director, The fucking Lighthouse.
I've not watched that film.
You should. It's
Oh,
fucking.
my!
Lighthouse is good. It is currently on Netflix. I would have preferred if you'd watched it in theaters. It's very much a movie that benefits from that experience, but that's impossible right now. So yeah, watch it on Netflix.
I watched it in the dark on my TV, so I think that was good enough.
Very dimly lit room. I could go into it and just put it on the TV, just drag a TV in there and watch the movie.
Cross. You're fond of me lobster, ain't you? I seen it. You're fond of me lobster. Say it. Say it.
You're drunk.
Hark! Triton, hark below.
So I remember watching that movie with my roommate, and he said something along the lines of like, "Man, this dialogue is almost like a theater show. There's a lot of monologues." And I was just about to say, "Oh, just you wait."
Dialogue is what?
It's like almost like with like
Theater.
monologues
Oh,
and
yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah,
It's,
that bitch be theater like. All right.
if you look at it like this, it's kind of like two roommates going crazy during the pandemic.
A little bit.
Isn't it? Isn't it?
I mean,
a little bit.
I mean, I don't know if you came up with that or if you just read the top comment on that video you clipped me, but
Maybe. It's not plagiarism if it's a YouTube comment.
actually, technically, it is.
It shouldn't
You
be.
actually-
It fucking shouldn't be with how low quality those comments are. You know
it doesn't
right?
matter if it's low quality. It's still technically another person's
Well,
thoughts.
fuck them.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, that movie is fucking fantastic. It's what is it? It's shot on 4:3. It's shot 4:3, so that already is a great way to off-put pretty much anyone. I'm not even gonna go ahead and say like, oh yeah, it's a great way to off-put like regular modern audiences and regular folk around movies too. Do you know how many fucking do you know how many movies I've watched in 4:3? Fucking almost zero. Like maybe I've watched a few dozen, and that would only have been in my early film history classes. 4:3 is such a old, weird way to film, and it fucks with people so hard.
Also shot in black and white.
It was
Oh,
shot
yeah.
in black.
Black and white.
I don't
And
know
not-
if it was shot in black and white, but it
Not
is
shot.
in black and
It's
white.
in black
It was
and white.
shot. It was shot in black and white.
Was it
There-
shot
there
black
was-
and white? They used
Yeah,
they used
couldn't have
non-color
a-
footage.
Yeah, they used old cameras just because, like, simply doing it in post would not have given it the same effect.
That is very true. Post would not do it.
It does.
It's very
explain the flaw.
very difficult to film black and white on a surface and then do it in post.
Also,
Honestly-
perhaps ironically, compared to The Witch, they use the exact opposite logic when it comes to lighting, because they had to use very bright lights in the filming of that. Just to make things look right.
Those shadows are almost unnatural with how stark and contrasting they are. It looks great, and you don't think about it when you're watching it, but like it nothing in that fucking movie when it comes to lighting like fits with how you would think real life lights work. When you turn on a lamp, you're not creating a super harsh light on one surface of your fucking room that then creates these massive, dark shadows on the other corner. Because that's not how fucking lights are designed. They're designed to diffuse light because that looks fucking ugly as shit and is terrifying and is totally useless to have in your house in real life. But it looks fucking fantastic in that movie.
I think the black and white is probably one of the reasons for that, though.
Oh, well, what do you mean? For what, though? The harsh lighting?
Yeah, for the lighting, because it really benefits from that.
Yeah, it is. 100%.
Yeah, honestly, that movie just would not have worked in color.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't have worked in color, and honestly, I don't think it would have slapped nearly as hard if it was recorded in any... as fucking, like, it must feel that I'm currently wearing a fucking top hat and a fucking pair of suspenders on some slack pants and I'm growing like
pipe.
A fake
You got a pipe
beard and I got a fucking pipe. What's the word I'm looking for? Those assholes who wear suspenders and those crossnet shirts, but they look like lumberjacks, but they aren't lumberjacks. They're like computer programmers.
Yep.
Those dickheads.
Hipsters. I feel like a hipster when I'm gonna say this, but that movie would not have been as good if it was shot in anything in like standard 16:9. The 4:3 fucking made it like even better.
I mean, to be fair, you always sound like a hipster.
Oh.
Go make another video essay about cities.
All right, damn.
It was one of your better. It was one of your better videos. So go ahead.
That was a really good video. Also, I will say my favorite thing about The Lighthouse is that movie brought Robert Pattinson back into the public eye, and fuck, I love that man so much.
Man.
And it sucks that he's like only known as the vampire in a movie that he hated.
Oh yeah, that's the best part. I love the fact that he hates those films.
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think most of the Twilight actors get a bad rap because of those movies.
No one hates Twilight more than their own actors.
Exactly. And on the topic of Twilight actors, if you don't mind me moving away from the Lighthouse, if it's okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
I will say this. I never knew that I wanted to see a film where both Chris Pattinson and Willem Dafoe whacked it.
Oh,
But
dude, it's amazing.
There is a lot of jacking off in that movie.
There's a lot of cum in that movie, if we're being honest.
There is more cum in that movie than you would expect when you watch it.
There's
when you first go.
There's a lot of talking about fucking too. If I
had a steak
right now,
I could fuck it.
And he'd be like, and that, God, can I actually talk about that scene?
Go ahead.
It's so fantastic just because as well, like the moment they get into it and they start talking, there's such a dynamic shift when it gets onto the cooking. It sounds and feels like a married couple arguing. It sounds like a domestic case waiting to happen. He's just like, no, you like my cooking. I work hard every day to enslave in that kitchen, and you're going to tell me now that you don't like it when I cook for you, huh? Hubby, husband of mine?
What?
And just so much of that movie, it just falls into what that movie does best, and that is constantly keeping you on edge, because they're always switching this dynamic and making it that you can never fully understand what's going on in this fucking movie.
You don't know whose perspective you want to trust.
Because one moment, he's so domestic and so like kind of reserved and submissive, even, acting like this traditional wife who's like trying to convince her abusive husband that her cooking is good, and then switches to immediately him back in this assertive, dominant, position where he's like reciting this long poem about how Neptune is going to come up and curse this fucking kid, and it just constantly switches around like that, and it's so good. I love that movie. We should get away from the topic because you should go in as blind as you can.
Yes, but I will say one more thing. Just one thing. The film has a surprisingly good comedic timing.
It does, yeah.
That's all I'm
totally,
gonna say.
100%.
That's all I'm gonna say. But to move on from that, about Twilight actors in surprisingly good horror movies, I feel like Kristen Stewart in Underwater was really good, and it shouldn't have failed as bad as it did.
I have not watched Underwater. What is Underwater?
It's okay. So I'll just give you the basic plot premise. It's
I am looking at like pictures of this film, and I want to watch it already.
okay. It's a really greatly shot film. It's really nice. It has a nice story, but it's basically about an underwater research team. They're in an underwater base, and some shit goes fucky, and that's all I'm gonna say because there's a twist at the end, and I don't want to talk about the twist.
I mean, no, that's fair.
But I feel like everything about that film was really good, and it perfectly encapsulates the idea of fear of the dark. Ironically, because I didn't really feel the same fear of the water in that movie. Ironically, but you get the sense of the feeling of being afraid of the dark and shit.
I don't think I can.
Boy that's joining us.
Afraid of the dark, you say?
Oh,
Afraid
you
of the
son
dark.
of a
What's
bitch!
poppin'?
You made it.
I made it. What am I late for?
The
Nothing. Absolutely
hor-
nothing. It's
n-
just
nothing,
casual conversation.
Yeah.
with friends.
Casual
can't-
conversation about some Kristen Stewart underwater shenanigans.
Oh, so I buried the kids underneath your house, Kaiju. I hope you don't mind.
It's
The
okay.
little one was like wiggling around a lot. She kept screaming your name,
I ate them.
but
I ate them.
she said that skull sucked, and I wasn't about to let that stand, so I fucking
thank
suplexed
you,
her and
thank
broke
you,
her fucking
thank you.
neck.
That's my boy. That's my bro.
And then afterwards, she started saying how much she hated women and minorities,
Let's
but she
go!
was a
Wait,
woman.
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
My man!
I thought it was like the female version of historical. In fact, I checked it. It wasn't him in disguise. I had to be sure.
It didn't
What
have the Bowsette
What
crown.
happened?
We went off topic because Palm joined.
What
This
the
this
fuck?
fucking asshole.
So my greatest fear
was
is
the
going
one.
off topic, and here we are.
We're not on phobias anymore, you asshole. The topic is about horror movies, and we were on topic consistently so far. So give us a horror movie.
Well,
Come-
I'm
come-
here,
come on,
and
come
let me
on,
tell
let's
you
go.
about the greatest fucking movie ever.
Horror movie.
It's
Alright, I'm
actually not.
listening.
It's the fucking worst.
Oh
It's
god,
it's
a
fucking
bad
called
horror
Unfriended.
movie. Unfriended
You
isn't
don't
that bad.
like it?
Fuck you. We were on this earlier. Unfriended isn't that bad.
Well, it's not good either.
Okay.
It's
I'll
okay,
give you
it's okay.
Unfriended 1 as in like it's a haha, this is so bad it's good. But like
fucking
Unfriended 2 is like this is unironically trying way too hard to be funny.
I haven't
Or not
seen
funny,
2.
but like scary.
I haven't seen 2,
What?
but I thought 1 was alright. I thought 1 was actually alright.
Dude, the
There was
fat
a
kid sticking his hand in the fucking blood. You're like,
Yeah, that was cool. That was fucking awesome. What's the fucking
Why did he?
It was
Why did the
stupid.
fat kid have a fucking blender at his fucking desk?
Because he's
No,
fat.
bro. He looked at it with like a pog face, like, my hand, pog.
We should invite him to the podcast.
Please, if we get our first guest, can it please be the guy from Unfriended?
Yeah, and he'll have a blender, and we'll do a funny little skit where we all get taken out.
I'll get taken out.
It's not that bad of a movie though. I don't think it's that bad of a movie. But if you want to talk bad horror movies,
Oh no.
I mean, I've talked about my bad horror movies, so
I'll tell you about one of my least favorite series of all time, and I hope it burns in hell. because I hate them. I hate every single one of these movies. Except for the first two. They're okay at best. Wrong
I know what
Turn.
movie you're talking about. I knew it. I'm like, I know what you're building up to.
I fucking hate
Wait, what
Wrong
was
Turn.
that?
I hate Wrong Turn.
Oh, wrong.
Could you describe what Wrong Turn is?
Basically, cannibal mutants that are born
Hillbillies.
from incest kill people who happen to make the wrong turn at this fucking piece of shit woods in Connecticut or some shit. I don't
West
fucking
Virginia.
yeah, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. You know the
Virginia.
fucking song. But anyway, they can't eat any animals because the woods were polluted with chemicals, so no animals live here. So they have to eat people. Oh, it's so scary. Oh, look at the torture porn. Isn't it so good? Oh, fucking hate those movies.
I just want to point out, like, I've never heard these movies. I've never heard of these movies,
I
but they
watched
sound
them.
wonderful.
They're
I know.
horrible.
I remember the first two were okay, right? But like everything after the third movie just fucking was awful.
No. The third movie was pretty bad. The third movie was pretty bad. Don't fucking deny it.
See, I said the third movie was bad. Everything after the third movie was even worse.
Somehow they got worse and worse and worse and worse.
No, it's like they have the most fucking like. It's like at least in like horror movies where like even in horror movies with downer endings, right? Like John Carpenter's A Thing. At least you had the solace of that fucking monster was dead 6 feet under. In the fucking what? Get it?
No, because I've got bad news for you. If you think at the end of John Carpenter's The Thing that monster's dead.
If you're gonna
we don't know the ending. It was
mention a
ambiguous.
surprisingly good game, you should mention the good game.
I was not going to mention the game, which is actually really good, but I was going to mention the fact that there's in the last bit of the scene, they see a dog running off, and it's sort of implied by his actions and his words afterwards. I forget what he says specifically, that dog is not supposed to be alive.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I just want to point out, like, I've never heard of Wrong Turn. So the first place I went to check it out was the Ryan Hollinger YouTube channel, just to make sure he did a video essay on it that I haven't seen. But no, I just completely have not heard of those movies.
The most I can tell you to go watch is Dead Meat. That's the most I can go tell you to watch, because everything else is awful. Awful.
I fucking love Dead Meat.
Like historical mention with like downer ending. Like, I think the fourth fucking movie, has such a downer ending because Jesus Christ.
Don't the two fucking girls just get decapitated instantly?
No, that one doesn't bother me as much because one, it's a prequel, and two, it comes out of nowhere in such a way that it actually surprised me in an almost pleasant way. So I'll give that movie one thing. It surprised me with the ending slightly, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, I gave you the Johnny Sins ending.
Were you aware that Wrong Turn has 7 movies?
Yes, and they get worse every fucking movie.
If we want to talk about terrible horror movie series that get worse every time, Hellraiser's a great one, but I don't want to deviate our topic just yet.
Hellraiser 2 wasn't that bad. I'd argue Hellraiser 2
No,
was
Hellraiser 1 and 2 are great. Hellraiser 1 and 2 are great. Everything past Hellraiser 1 and 2 are trash.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
But let's not. We'll talk about that later. Let's get back on track, babies.
Darling.
It's just I'm gonna move on from this because I would like to talk about Hellraiser because I think those are some of the best movies when it comes to the slasher or like classical horror movies from around that time. I feel like those are some of the better ones. But one last note on Wrong Turn. It takes the approach of gore scary.
Oh.
And I hate that. I hate it when movies think, oh, gore is scary. Let's just put our movie chock full of it and think about everything else after like we're done filming, including the characters.
There is honestly a very thick line between scary and gory, you know?
Exactly.
Like,
there's unsettling.
Like, honest.
There's unsettling, and if you're going for something unsettling, gore can help because Hostel I feel like
Hostel,
I
yeah.
feel like that really works well with it because it knows how to use the gore effectively when it comes to that. Because I think there was this one scene in Hostel too. It's this Achilles heel scene, and the guy who has done this to the victim is like talking to him calmly, and you get this unnerving sense of dread, and then like the victim tries to get up to run away, and you just see this quick shot of the Achilles heel clearly separated because he cut it, and it just.
That was the first movie. The first movie was like a good movie. The second movie was.
The second movie
It
was
was just
okay.
like teehee, dog ending. Get clipped. GG.
But the first
Doggy.
movie was really good. I feel like the first movie was better than everybody says.
Honestly, I
It's
feel like
be-
there's like. No, you go.
I was just gonna say, it just came out during a time where there was like, fucking. I would say gore horror was just oversaturated, and that's why people just kind of wrote it off as like being lesser than it was.
Totally. There's like I'd say there's a Venn diagram where like in the middle is the good gory horror movies. You got like Saw 2 and 3.
No.
You
All
have
of them are good.
Hostel.
All of them are good. How dare you?
Are they really scary though? The other ones just go into the gory category.
No, I'd argue they go into soap opera.
Soap opera.
It is
That's
me.
why I love them.
I have also been working with Jigsaw the entire time.
Dun dun dun.
No, okay, so I feel like, one category is the really, like, the good scary movies, like, you have shit like Lighthouse, which is like shit that really terrifies you.
But
In the
doesn't
middle
need
is the
gore.
good blend of gore and horror, shit like Nightmare on Elm Street, Hostel, and early Saw movies.
Ooh.
And into the other category, you have the really fucking, you just have the unbelievably gory movies. Shit like the later Saw movies, or fucking Melt movies, where it's not scary, it's just gory as fuck. Anyone who tells me that they're scared of Melt movies is a bigger pussy than I am, and I'm a fucking pussy.
Of what?
Melt, okay,
Yo, what's that?
it's a subgenre of like B movie where it's literally the main selling point and the main horror is the person melting.
I've seen one of those.
It is fucking hilarious.
I think it was called
That
Body
is-
Melt. It was awful.
That is weirdly specific.
There's a whole ass video from the channel This Exists. So I don't think they're a thing anymore.
Oh.
But
Channel?
yeah, the channel. He does a whole video on them. But like, they're fucking hilarious, honestly.
On like the good balance portion though, and on the topic of good horror movie remakes, Friday the 13th remake.
Best horror remake.
God damn, they did Jason
Is it-
justice in that.
Is it because he runs?
He runs.
Yes, it's 'cause he
and it's
runs!
terrifying. And it's terrifying because he still sounds heavy because you hear his footsteps, but he's clearly making a football player sprint at people, and it is terrifying. Because like
This is dumb, but like I have a couple horror movie like figures on my desk, and like I got Freddy, he's a lanky boy. I got Leatherface, he's a chunky boy. But like Jason is thick.
Thick.
honestly, Jason is built like a ribeye steak.
Bro,
He
he
doesn't
can't
have
sneak up on anybody because his ass cheeks are just clapping all the way down, like someone's applauding the murder that's about to go down.
And that's why he should run. That's why I like him running, because it makes it that much more terrifying.
Well, they just get more ass cheek flops when you're dying.
Yeah, and like the movie does like a great job with the kills too. Like maybe it's not that good story wise or character wise, but come on, it's a Friday the 13th movie. What the fuck else are we saying? But it does such a good job on that department.
Like the fucking kill with the sleeping bag.
It's brutal.
That is-
It's brutal, and it's actually somewhat scary. That's the thing. It's scary.
Yeah. Do y'all know that kill?
Oh,
The only
dude,
one
it's
I
iconic.
remember is in. The only kill I remember is in. Don't shame me for this. Jason X,
Uh,
the one in space.
Yeah. The one that's more of
I
an
have,
action movie.
I have a soft spot for Jason X.
It's a funny type of stupid.
The one I remember the most is was it? It was one of the worst ones. It was the one filmed. It was like, what was it called, Jason in New York or something, where he just
Jason takes Manhattan.
Jason Takes Manhattan, where he just socks the guy's head off.
I was actually going to say, like, that's one of my favorite. Okay, so, like, top 3 favorite kills, because I actually have these for Jason. That's number 3, because I like the fact that the guy puts up a fight, and Jason clearly lets him put up a fight, and he waits for the guy to say, okay, go ahead. It just gives the idea that Jason felt some respect for this guy. And the guy's like putting in and then he's all tired, he's sweating after, he's just like, okay, give me your best shot, motherfucker. And then Jason's just like just one good swing. And the second favorite kill is actually from the worst one to me. Jason Goes to Hell. He's walking through a hallway, and these 2 cops are like, yeah, Jason was just like a little old pussy anyway. And you just see Jason turn around, and then they're dead.
Sounds like a visual gag more than like a fucking kill.
That's why I like it. It was funny. Just this idea that Jason was walking past. He wasn't going to kill these guys, but because they insulted him, he got so pissed. And my favorite one, I'm gonna say it. Jason versus Freddy, or Freddy versus Jason, the bed one.
Yeah, if you're gonna talk about the movie, get it fucking right.
Oh no, Jason versus Freddy. That's what it's called. Jason's Awakening.
Yes, featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Jason May Cry 3, Jason's Awakening.
New Jason May Cry.
JMC, Jason May Cry. The
Yo,
controversial
he gets his devil
reboot.
trigger. He gets his devil trigger.
He's a Gino, Jason in name only.
Oh.
They made him too skinny and look like a crack addict.
Yeah, they gave him a really weird looking hockey helmet too.
I think he tried to say this is a basketball helmet even during it. In fact, he talked. That was weird too.
Yeah, he said "fuck you" a lot. It was really weird. Okay. I'm gonna move past this. You guys take the lead.
Wait, what was your favorite kill?
Oh, I said it. I thought I said it. The bed from
No.
Yeah, the bed kill from Freddy versus Jason. You know where he stabs the guy, then he just turns him into a sandwich.
Right. I probably didn't hear it, but we were just so sidetracked with different titles for the movie that I don't think you actually said it.
It's because of Palm. Blame Palm. Blame Palm. Blame Palm and you.
Yeah, baby, blame me.
So
Oh no, so the sleeping bag kill though, kind of going back on that, is basically these 2 are fucking. It's a Friday the 13th movie, and like
Bow chicka bow, bow chicka bow.
the guy hears noises, so he goes out to investigate, and the girl just stays in the tent. Well, Jason takes the girl, puts her in a sleeping bag, hangs it up in a tree, and then hangs her over a fucking fire, so she's basically being roasted alive in a sleeping bag.
That's fucked up. Wait, I
the
remember
remake.
something like that being done in that disturbing cartoon, that Happy Tree Friends.
Oh, probably. Fucking hell, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Might have been inspired by,
Bro,
actually.
dude, it probably was. Bro, you've never heard of Happy Tree Friends?
Never.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Never.
It's the whole.
Have you genuinely never heard of Happy Tree Friends?
Never.
You're
I can't think of it.
You missed out. You missed out a fucking like an early 2000s childhood subculture that existed pretty much worldwide, as far as I'm aware.
Hold on, I got this.
The gimmick was they were like cute little cartoons that then would turn graphically violent. Graphically fucking violent. Like really disturbing. And they were not meant for children. But-
Okay, all right. I picked up a perfect one on top of it.
But that would be the joke. So you'd go up to your friend who's like fucking 8 or whatever and be like, haha, hey, watch Happy Tree Friends. And you'd be like, okay, this looks fun. And then you'd watch that, and then you'd probably start crying and go tell your mother, and then your mother would go to complain to the school. And then the school would call up that kid's mom, and that kid's mom would probably, I don't know, do something, and then there'd be a whole fucking thing about it.
Light a cigarette and then put it out in the kid's eyes. Typical parenting.
No.
What?
I mean, I do that too all the time.
Yeah, I thought it was a normal punishment. Palm always does it.
Yeah, I mean, he learns. He never does it again.
Yeah, I never do it again.
But it is
I can't see more than 2 feet, but I don't look. I learn.
You can see your 2 feet. That's enough.
It is
Yeah.
like genuinely incredibly disturbing content.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Dude, the amount of dismemberment in Happy Tree Friends is just like actually fucking nutty.
I'll watch
I
it
remember
sometime.
watching it. I remember when I was a kid. I watched their zombie episode. Oh fuck, that was graphic.
If you ask me, the haircut one, that one was too much for me. Do y'all remember that one?
I
No.
don't, not off the
Uh,
top of my head. I remember one where they were shoving babies into a blender, but
I will say the climax of it is a baby putting the hair clippers in his mouth while they're unplugged, and that's all I'm gonna say.
And on
Oh.
today's episode of I'm Never Getting Monetized.
you don't need money. It's all about the friends you made along the way.
Please donate. I need it. Also, I don't trust what you mean by the friends we've met along the way. When this
You can't speak English.
just keep
man.
talking. Just keep talking. I'm fucked.
I don't know who made Happy Tree Friends,
Mondo Media.
but they were very, yeah, but I mean the person behind it.
Oh.
They were very disturbed.
George Clooney.
Whoa, what a twist!
Why does that not surprise me? Why wasn't I shocked to think, like, I just went, oh yeah, if George Clooney did it, that wouldn't surprise me. Why do I have such a weird opinion of George Clooney somewhere in my subconscious?
That or Gary Busey.
Alright, so going back to horror movies, can we get back to Hellraiser? I want to talk about Hellraiser.
Right. We
Hellraiser.
never even talked about Hellraiser.
Okay, so Hellraiser 1 and 2 are really good, and I find them incredibly interesting films. With how they sort of handle the, what are they called again? What are the fucking
Cenobites.
the Cenobites? Yeah. Where in Hellraiser 1 and 2, they really do help craft this feeling that the Cenobites are this otherworldly force. They have another way, but another culture, another thought process to them. They're not these generic demons. They're genuinely just beings that happen to be more powerful than us, and at the same time have an incredibly warped perspective of the world from our own perspective. They genuinely feel, in that sense, a bit more. It genuinely comes across as this weird sort of eldritch feeling coming from them, because their motivations are we are going beyond the limitations of the flesh. We are exploring the reaches of pleasure, and in that warped exploration, pleasure becomes into pain. Is to achieve the greatest pain is to endure the harshest pleasures. Or sorry, to do the greatest pleasures is to endure the harshest pains. And the way that they talk with other human beings, or not even with other human beings, since they aren't human beings. Well, I mean, they were later in the other movies. It's revealed that they used to be human. Fuck off! Shut up and kill yourself.
Well, I mean, I kind of appreciate that almost.
I hated that. I hated that so much.
Really?
Yeah, where when they talk with you, it's like an asshole talking to a child. They're just like, listen, you don't understand what you're talking about. You're coming at me with this shit, telling me like, no, I don't want to experience this kind of thing. And you're like, just shut up. We're just ignoring you because you're such a smaller being than us that your will and your wants are they're like a child to us. They're like, you don't really know what you're saying, so we're just gonna ignore everything you say as you plead and beg for your life.
Shut up and take it.
No, not even shut up and take it. They just will calmly walk up to you and grab you.
Vibe check.
But like, my vibe check.
Yeah, they are just the universe's very dark vibe check.
You have failed the vibe check. But like, honestly, Pinhead is like hands down one of the most intimidating characters like in all of cinema. But specifically the actor who played him in most of the movies. You know, because like once the other Pinhead actors got involved, that's like when the movies really got bad. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't even remember most of the movies past the third one. Like it's a straight like I feel like I've repressed the memories.
I watched most of them back to back because I wanted to experience it. And so the best thing to say, let me double check which ones these are. Which Hellraiser films is this? So there's there's 10 films now. Oof.
Yeah.
So
dude,
I think
when you count to double digits, it's always a bad sign for your series.
It's Hellraiser. I think Bloodline's the one set in space. Yeah. So Hellraiser Inferno and Hellraiser Hellseeker, I believe there are. They are the fucking same movie. They were written by different people, but they are the same fucking movie. And I'm not even like, oh, there's some similarities. I mean, the plot twists are the same. The characters' archetypes are the same. The fucking entire the whole. So let me give you the brief synopsis then of Hellraiser Inferno. In Hellraiser Inferno, you follow a detective who is looking for the origin of this box because of its involvement in a crime. Where you go out and you try to and he tries to find it. And he goes and like the world is weird. People that should be dead are not. Shit's fucked. Well, I can't understand this reality around me. I'm going crazy. Plot twist. He's opened the box at the beginning of the movie or whatever. He took it home for himself. He used it. He's actually trapped in quote unquote hell or whatever place it is that Pinhead wants to keep them, and he's making them. He's essentially just torturing him. Hellraiser Hellseeker follows some fucking guy who's looking for an event. I might have these movies swapped, by the way. That's how similar they are. Who's just fucking looking for the box because of some involvement in his fucking life getting fucked up. Shit's weird. The world isn't acting the right way. People that should be dead are not. Yada, yada, yada. The plot twist is he actually already used the box and he's being tortured by Pinhead. And he was actually trapped in there from the beginning of the film.
That's fucking identical right there.
It's really bad. I don't remember Hellraiser Deader, but I think
awful title when I first started.
Oh, they really get bad. Hellraiser, then Hellbound Hellraiser 2, which I believe it's called Hellbound because the original book, I believe, or the original thing was called no.
It's the Hellbound Heart. That is the original, the name of the original novella.
Yes, the Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. And the reason why Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2 are so good are because Clive Barker, the guy who wrote the fucking book,
wrote the screenplay.
And then Hellraiser 3 is Hell on Earth. And then you have Hellraiser Bloodline. Then you have Hellraiser Inferno. Then you have Hellraiser Hellseeker. Then you have Hellraiser Deader. Then you have Hellraiser Hellworld. Then, of course, because it's 2010 and biblical shit's coming in now, you got Hellraiser Revelations. And then you have 2018, it came out with Hellraiser Judgment.
I didn't even know fucking Hellraiser Judgment even came out.
And I think they're making another one.
Oh, yay! Like, I would be excited, but like, I know I don't. I'm not. There's nothing to like be excited about.
It was also the film was never released in theaters. By the way, Hellraiser Judgment was a straight to DVD film.
Not surprised. Not surprised. Do you know what I wish would happen with the Hellraiser franchise?
What?
I wish they would make it book accurate and make Pinhead a chick, because
He was
We
it
all know.
Hellraiser? What? Yeah, Pinhead was a woman in the original book.
Yep.
This is true.
and you know,
And-
I
and
want
in the
to see
to
it.
be fair, in the original book, the Cenobites are a semi sort of side thing. They aren't the main premise of it, but they are an antagonistic force that exists within the book, but are not the focus.
Yeah.
Like,
I
my
just got off the
God.
quiet.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I think-
what
I think
happened?
Just I don't know.
I
think-
got
oh,
back.
whatever.
We all return, and then it just becomes quiet.
It's a good. Hellraiser 1 and 2 are fucking fantastic films. Really, if you can only have time for one, just watch the first Hellraiser. If you have time for another, yeah, watch Hellraiser 2. Do not go past Hellraiser 2. Do not. There is no point. None of them are
Yeah.
good.
I just want to say,
What the
You could-
Cenobites are get completely lost over time. For some fucking reason, eventually, even though they're supposed to be this other force outside of the universe or from another part of the universe or whatever, and are not meant to be tied to any one kind of religion, for some fucking reason, it all ends up getting tied to Christianity and it just being literally hell and like them being like demons and shit. And it's genuinely just so disappointing how they go from this very interesting other force that just embody this idea of just something greater than you in terms of like a cosmic scale to
son, we sex demons.
they're demons, and in this movie, God fights them. Yeah, because that's what they were in the first one, right? They were just demons, right?
You know,
They were
you know what this
secular.
is reminding me of? You know what this is reminding me of?
What?
What they did to my aliens.
Explain.
What they do to your
You go
aliens?
from an abstract Lovecraftian horror that has sexual implications to
You mean the xenomorph just sort of being like just sort of an entity that exists essentially?
yeah, something that you shouldn't understand, something that you don't want to understand, something that's truly alien, to more of an action sort of take on it. Oh, hive mind, there's more questions than answers though, so that helps. And everything makes sense. It's entertaining at the least. Then there's a dog one now. Oh, and there was this clone of the main character from the last movie who's dead, and she had a xenomorph inside of her. So then that came out because they extracted it through surgery, and that alien, because it was made from a clone, has a human womb, and so it gives birth to a true human xenomorph hybrid, which gets a marital bond with the main character, who kills in a very sad way. And then there's a prequel where we see the engineers and how they apparently came out from black jizz or some shit. But we don't actually see the alien, of course. We see this weird cobra and a bunch of fucking autistic people fuck around on this planet for some reason. And then there's this gay android. He does a heel turn, I guess. And then there's this side plot of him going to the engineer homeworld and committing the final solution on them or something. I don't know. And then it skips a couple years, and then he quote unquote plays the flute with another android, if you know what I'm saying. And it's revealed that he was the one that made the xenomorphs all along.
It's me, Austin.
I want to correct
The way
you.
you explained that was explained.
I want to correct you on one thing.
One thing? Okay.
Did you mean when you said marital bond? Did you mean maternal bond?
I couldn't think of the word, so I just went with the word that sounded right. My bad. But you get the fucking gist.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just asking. Was that what you meant?
Yes. But
Yeah.
you get the gist. I'm gonna move past it. Still mad.
Like, anyway.
Sounded like you had genuine anger in that. You
There
just
is
called-
anger. There's rage.
You threw out so many insults within such a short amount of time. It was unironically entertaining.
You don't understand, dude. Prometheus, just
Sucks.
no. It to say it sucks
It's an
is
anti-movie.
like, it's a compliment to like bad things. Like I don't even think I said that correctly. Fuck Prometheus. Like you look at any other entry in the Alien series, you're just like Prometheus. Like, how could you? How could you fall this far?
Alien 3
So
was
it's
better
so-
than that. Alien 3.
So is
Yeah.
your
I would agree. I would wholeheartedly
I
agree.
didn't even hate Alien 3.
Alien 3 was arguably the worst. I think Resurrection was slightly better. That's not saying much.
Do you hate Alien 3?
Yeah, but Prometheus, that's not hate. That's loathe.
So is
not-
your
not
is
even
your
loathe.
Prometheus my Texas Chainsaw 4, basically?
Yes. I would say that is an accurate interpretation.
God damn, I already ranted about it, but fuck that movie. Fuck that movie.
Man, Leatherface and the Xenomorph must be really depressed.
God, oh man, it's okay. Leatherface. I've heard Leatherface is doing a little better for himself though.
Yeah, I heard he had a part-time job at a butcher. Anyway,
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
and he moved out of Texas. Things were kind of rough for him, so he's currently living on Jason's couch. Like Jason let him take the couch, and that was really nice of him.
wholesome.
Ty,
So
you
that's
told
why
me-
Jason was in New York.
Oh yeah. He had a little extra money, so he thought he'd make a vacation.
He had a fun time.
Yeah,
Did you?
yeah.
You DM'd me something earlier. Are you gonna bring that up here or no?
What did I?
You said it was for later.
What did I?
You did.
Wait, hang on.
Was it for
No,
kids?
no. I'm trying to remember what I.
Was it for kids?
Oh no. I just sent that to you for. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about it. Dog Soldiers.
I like that movie.
That's a good movie.
Alex?
That's a good movie. I can kind of describe it as aliens but werewolves to some extent. Like that's the best way
Okay.
that's the best way I can explain it, but it goes for a different twist. It's a lot less I'm trying to figure out the right word to put for it because it's not a B movie. It's not a B movie. And I feel like saying it's less professional isn't quite right.
It's an A&a-half movie.
Yeah, it's one of those, but there's a lot of heart into it, and it clearly seems to care about the werewolf genre, which is a genre that is shaky foundations to say the least, because sometimes it's either okay, sometimes it's either okay, really good, or really, really bad. And,
Only
and
one of
Dog
those
Soldiers
three.
is pretty good. Pretty good.
So is it like kind of one of those movies where you can tell everyone making it?
Yeah, you can tell that there was a passion behind it. You can tell.
My B movie.
And I don't know how much of the plot to describe to you, but you can see a bit of the country's culture in it because it takes place in Scotland, and you can kind of see the culture bleed through, and you can kind of see like the mindset of the characters bleed through into the story, and combine that with a genuine monster movie with a good action or half decent action and good effects. It comes out with something pretty nice, and I respect that a lot. I can't help but think of that many other movies quite like it. I'm trying to think of some. If you guys have any, go ahead. Please.
Well, Palm, what about you? I don't think we've heard anything necessarily about a movie that you wish to discuss.
Well, I don't know where to begin. I mean, you guys, I don't even know how long you guys have been going. I'm
Oh.
just kind of chilling now that I've hopped in.
An hour and 18 minutes.
An hour.
An hour and 18 minutes. Wow, that's almost legal. Anyway,
Matt's probably gonna
what?
have to go soon. Matt's
Well.
probably gonna have to go soon. I just realized.
oh, Matt, no. All right, anyway,
I've got a job.
I respect that. That's a pretty good horror film going to work.
Oh no,
Going-
this
Getting
place
up-
is a real horror show. Okay, I know it's not a horror movie, but like fucking hell, Clockwork Orange can get freaky.
That's fair.
Let's not talk.
Oh
about,
yeah,
let's
dude,
not, let's not
100%.
talk about Rape the movie.
It's
What,
too
you
long.
don't being strapped down and forced to watch things against your will?
I'm singing in the rain.
I mean, that's
Just-
basically what Palm and historical do to me sometimes.
Do what?
I force you to watch 2D characters. He forces you to go down Monster Mountain in Alaska.
No. He forced me to read Sonic High School, so that's basically a
Yeah, I
horror
forced
movie.
all of you to read Sonic High School, except for Matt. Now, Matt, you're coming
Matt,
with me. You're gonna read
you
that
have to read
tomorrow.
Sonic
Matt,
High
do
School.
not.
You have to read
Dude,
Sonic.
let's-
share the
No,
pain.
you don't.
Share the pain.
We'll fucking
share the
stream
pain.
it tomorrow. We will
Let's
read Sonic High School and fucking stream it tomorrow.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go!
That fool.
I already did it once before. Do I really have to do it again?
Yes.
No, it's only Matt.
It could just be me. It could literally just be me in historical, but y'all can join if you want. Let's fucking go!
Anyway, we got off topic.
Yeah.
Palm, say a horror
Yeah.
movie you like, please.
Oh, I'm gonna say one of my favorites. One of my favorite series. The Scream series from Wes Craven.
Why didn't
So-
I mention that? Why didn't I mention that?
Because
Wes
you know what? It's me, boy. I'm bringing it to town. So like, one of my favorite parts about at least let's talk about the OG Scream first, because like 2 and 3 are definitely a downward trend, and 4 is very special because it's, okay, we'll
Four's
get
not
there.
bad. Four's not
But
bad.
well, I mean, 4's good. 4's pretty good when you think about 2 and 3. But again, we'll get there. We'll get there. So my favorite part about Scream in general is it's a great subversion of the genre from where it was coming right out of the late 80s and like early 90s, because you've gotten to the point where horror and your slasher flicks have gotten so formulaic, and you're getting up to, I don't know, I think most of the longer series had been going up to like 5 or 6 at that point, and people are kind of starting to check out and realize, man, the genre feels a little stale right now. And then just comes a horror movie where it's like, okay, we're gonna sell it like it's your high school slasher, but instead we're gonna flip everything on its head and have everyone think they know the rules, the quote unquote rules of horror movies, and just absolutely give you twist after twist after twist. Like, the first time you watch Scream, it's fucking magic. And I would dare say, like, if you somehow have gotten this far and not had any spoilers at all, definitely go. It's a must-have to fucking watch.
I have seen that film, and yeah, you're correct. It does come out of this part where a lot of people it comes out of a point where you have the internet essentially, and you have people who you have this new or well, not new, but you now have this subgenre, or not subgenre, this subpopulation of people now on this earth recognized as teenagers. And they're fucking full of themselves, because with the internet and everything, they have this massive catalog of films that they can go through and watch that like just a decade before, to be able to consume this much cinema at any point of a specific genre, you'd have to have been insane and had lots of fucking money in your wallet. It would have been unheard of for somebody to be able to do that. Absolutely unheard of.
But now
you can.
Yeah.
And so now you
Which
have
is
now you have this subgenre, subpopulation of teenagers who think they're fucking too smart for you. They look at movies and they go, I know what a movie's gonna do. I've seen a shit ton of these movies. I am too fucking smart for this movie. And that's exactly what happens when people when the people were writing this thing. They were writing it for this specific audience. I mean, hell, even one of the characters early on in the film says, like, what, like, when one of them starts talking about, it's like, I think this killer might be somebody else or whatever. And then they literally just go, what? It's like, listen, Stacy or whatever, calm down. You're starting to sound like one of those John Craven flicks, which John Craven is not a real director, but it's a combination of John Carpenter, and Wes Craven.
I love that.
Which
All
is
right,
hilarious on top of itself.
So I must say, unfortunately, I got a dip. But before I dip, I just want to say one thing. I'm very proud to announce that this episode of the podcast is sponsored by Shudder.
Oh man,
I'm glad
Shudder
he's gone.
really knows how to
I'm glad.
shut out the competition and shut Matt right the fuck out.
Well, yeah, because we aren't sponsored by Shudder,
Yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
unfortunately.
Yep.
Kaiju, when you paying me?
When I see you in real life.
Wow, are you gonna? That's a lot of back pay.
Yeah, I'll be ready.
All right. Before we fly off the topic, then,
I don't know who I'm looking at.
I would say that that another thing that it did so well is like you're right 100% that you have all of these teens that are just like, I know the rules, I know this is the way this is supposed to go, this person's showing all the telltale signs, that person, that's the fucking killer. And what Scream does at the original exceedingly well is give you so many good candidates about, oh yeah, it's fucking Dewey, and you're like, oh, it's not Dewey, it's definitely fucking Sydney's boyfriend. And you're like, okay, if it's not Sydney's boyfriend, who else could it fucking be? And you might even point to Jamie Kennedy's character, who's out here bitching about the rules left and right, like, when they're, for someone who knows the ins and outs of how to be a killer correctly, you could even play it upon him to possibly be the killer.
I think you
And
have two equally suspicious suspects with Sydney's boyfriend and what's his name?
I don't remember his name, but
you know the one I'm talking
it was Sid's dad as a candidate as possibly being the killer, and Sid's boyfriend on top of it too. That were like the prime two suspects the entire time through.
And then, as you and Cross said, the movie flips it on its head by saying, "Oh yeah, there's two of them," and it gives you this flip right as you see one of your prime suspects die, or at least quote unquote die. So it makes you think, okay, shit, it's not him. Who the fuck could it be? No, it's him and somebody else.
Right. Fucking. Was it Steve?
I
I think it was Matthew Lillard's character.
I loved him.
Yeah, it's hard to not think, wow, Scoob, we're gonna get away with it.
Wow, Scoob, we're gonna kill some virgins.
I thought you were doing
Wait,
skit
she
for a
wasn't
moment.
a virgin. And remember,
right.
according to the rules, as soon as you lose your virginity, yeah, that's it. It's over for you.
It's a wrap.
But,
It's a
God,
wrap.
that they
Cinematic
do it
wrap.
all the way down the staircase, and they're just like, nah, it's over for you, Sid. But, even Sid's got that last girl power. But, I don't really want to talk about 2 that much. 2's not really memorable. I honestly think 2's... I'm not sure if 2 or 3 is the weakest link, because, 2 is just...
I remember 3. I give 3 that. I remember it.
Right. And 3 has, it makes sense, even if the story's, pretty stupid, all things considered. But 2 is just it's a slog. It focuses about Cotton Weary way too fucking much. Sid in college is not the most interesting thing ever, and
I think
it's
the only
just
thing that I remember from 2 is the first kill. I think, right, where it's at the movie theater. I think that's the most that I remember from the movie.
yep, because it's parodying the first kill, and it's it's all good. It's all good. Because they had that other movie going on. What was it? The movie inside the movie, Stab, I think it is.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
4 did a good job, I think. 4 did a good job, I feel.
Well, 4 redeemed it because it took what was going wrong with 2 and 3, and I also just the beginning is real cheeky in of itself, kind of playing to that specific kind of it's a throwback to the first one while still doing the same tropes, or still making fun of the same tropes it did back then. the two girls like sitting there watching the movie, like or the stab series, and then one ends up killing another. Yeah, yeah,
And
you
then
know what I'm talking
there's a
about,
film inside of the film, and it kind of does that.
right? But I would say it redeems itself because, in a sense, the horror genre really hasn't done like I love horror to death, but it's had some difficulties kind of translating over to the current generation. Well, like being contemporary. There we go. That's what I'm looking for.
Hmm.
Because when you're in the middle of a time where you could just call the police from anywhere and you're connected to everybody at any time,
Or better yet, the
like
pizza man.
it's a
Pizza
lot
truck.
harder to be scary, it's a lot harder to be sneaky, but it also uses this to its advantage, and it also uses it as a motivator for our murderer in this movie. In a sense of speaking, like clout chasing has literally become something that people die for, that people kill for,
I mean,
and
like, just to quote, like, that one Vine where this guy was like, yeah, do it for the Vine. And then he tries to jump over a car and ends up clipping his legs. The next shot is him, is completely unironic. This isn't a staged Vine. The next shot is him in a fucking ambulance. And they make him look at the camera and say, don't do it for the Vine.
but so
That's
the
funny
things
though.
that some people will do.
And it also played off of the idea of like a series going for too long and reboots at the same time, which gave it, it still connected it to the first movie in a good way, in like a natural progression sort of way.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was literally Sid's kid.
Yeah, but making fun of remakes and reboots and constant sequels, that felt natural, right?
Right. Like on top of it too, it was just another layer to it was it was accepting it probably had come as far as it was going to go. Like the legend of Ghostface and it being immortalized through other horror movies was causing the legend of Ghostface itself to be touted more as a joke rather than something to be taken seriously, like as a killer. Even though the city of Westboro was trying its best. It wants to cover it up, but at the same time, it's gotten to the point where it almost doesn't give a shit. So then, when the murders start coming back up, her daughter like starts using this as a way to, well, kind of almost immortalize herself, and because she wants to kill everyone else and be the sole survivor. It's like, well, shit. Even if my mom dies, the OG sole survivor, what does that make me? Makes me fucking famous. So fuck you, mom, and fuck everyone else.
Which film is this again? This was Scream
4.
4. Thanks. Sorry, I'm dipping between this and video editing, so.
Wow, dude, not focusing completely on the podcast. Where do you live, by the way?
Away.
He lives in north.
Yep, I live in North.
I'm just asking because I want to know who I'm looking at. I'm sorry, who I'm talking to.
Yeah. Whose eyes are those?
Who knows?
I don't know.
God, I wish you knew what I meant.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's my fault. It's not your fault. It's literally my fault.
No, it's my fault.
No. Yeah, if you were a bigger weeb, you'd know what I fucking mean. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's no good anime horror movies that I can think of off the top of my head.
Movies, you'd be right about. There's not like a ton of those unless you want to go with like some of the old school, and even then, like the old schools aren't that great. Like
Yeah.
people like to tout Violence Jack, and I mean, I would argue that Barefoot Gen and Ghost of the Fireflies could be under the horror genre, but that's different.
It's
That's
a different
different.
kind of horror. Barefoot Gen is. You could argue Barefoot Gen is a horror film, but it's
It's not trying to be horror.
it's-
It's the
it
horror
has
of the incident.
horror in the sense of it's the horrific uh the horrific aftermath of dropping the nuclear bomb on Hiroshima.
Right.
Not poggers.
But it is more. It's not focused on being a horror. It is more so a war film. And if we want to talk about a genre, it's more of a war tragedy or drama than it is more of a, if we want to associate it with a genre specifically.
Right. I would say possibly Midori would fit into the category, but that's a formerly banned film that you can find on YouTube that's got a lot of really bad shit in one place.
Yikes.
It's about this girl who's dying well, she's living with her dying mom and they're really fucking broke. And then she meets a man underneath a bridge who promises her a better life. And by the time she goes home to try to tell her mom, mom's getting eaten by rats. So she decides, well, shit, I got nothing else to live for. Well, let's do it, man underneath the bridge. And he invites her to live and travel with the circus troupe.
I fucking know what you're talking
And
about. I was waiting for a
yes,
circus.
you do.
God
Yep.
damn it, I know this shit.
And I don't really want to go in too depth because like the thing is it's a lot of what the original creator was really going for was showing that even in the most destitute of circumstances, no matter how bad things get, you can always find something good. Even if bad is literally a pit of darkness, and even Guts might give you a nod and be like, "Oh, you've seen some shit."
Is this Midori Shoujo Tsubaki?
I think so.
Believe so. I know the actual name itself is just Midori. The thing about it being animated was it was made by the creator himself as a one-man thing. It was self-funded on top of it, and he made it because he felt like it said something that had to be said. Like it had to address that life isn't fair and you should make the best of your circumstances on top of it. Kind of like the way Schindel made Emergence, if we want to put it like that.
Ugh.
I mean, shit, both of them aren't wrong. This shit is real and that does happen. The horrors of life.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess it's sort of just like my baby side clashing with that. You know, the part of me that just wants an escape to watch a movie.
I mean, that's totally fair too.
Yeah, that doesn't delegitimize your viewing experience to want to have escapism as opposed to something like that. It's just another pathway, I guess.
I just worry it sounds like that whenever I like dismiss stuff that's too real or too brutal about it.
No, it's your own viewing experience and your own choices in life, so I'm not going to judge you on it.
Yeah, because I don't mean anything bad by it. Hell no.
Oh no, well, okay, we got you, man. Don't you even worry about it. All right, listen. Like the thing is, like sometimes, I mean, I always take viewing a movie, especially if it takes a more serious take, as it's perspective. It's trying to see things that I would either never see or something that I've seen 1,000 times and tried to show me a new angle to it. You know, and even when it comes to horror, like I think horror kind of presents it in some of the best ways because there's not a lot of times you're going to be put in the mind of a killer, and there's not a lot of times you're going to be put in the mind of a survivor either. That's what makes both of those very interesting to me. And on top of that, it's science fiction a lot of the time.
Right. Unless you're playing Dead by Daylight, then you have to be put in the mindset of both of those. And then you realize that both of them are just assholes.
I mean, if you think about it, they are both assholes. Nobody wins DBD.
Yeah, nobody fucking wins DVD. God, no! You're right!
Did you win? No, you fucking didn't. You got fucking trolls for 10 fucking minutes and you just sat there just like, alright. Even when you're the killer, you don't fucking win because afterward you just look at the chat log, you're like,
Fuck you
yes.
too. I had to face camp that Claudette because I just wanted to kill. That bitch. Had to teabag me over the fucking pallet. She got what she fucking deserved.
See, you're the reason there needs to be a Joker killer.
Bruh.
We live in a
with
society.
his special power, another joke Murray, where he pulls out a gun. Except unlike the Death Slinger, it's actually a gun, so he kills the survivor instantly.
Oh my god.
And you can
Death
and you
Slinger
can
just
only
being
and you
the
can
best
only play
meme.
this killer after like 50 survivors have escaped you.
In a row.
Exactly.
Literally the pity killer.
Here. Oh god.
Actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
It wouldn't
Just to
be.
go off on like a DBD game design. Like literally you have so many bad games in a row, they put in a secret killer that goes in rotation that you can spontaneously get with like all your add-ons and stuff converted.
It's like a super powered version of whatever killer that you used to play or like main. So like, oh, it's Ghostface, except everybody's always exposed.
And then when you as a survivor get put into that fucking game, you just get a screen that says, just be nice to him, okay?
Pity screen.
It's just a message that says, look, you people did this to him.
I'm just waiting for them to cave and be like, alright, now finally we get a crossover with Sonic the Hedgehog. Now Sonic EXE is in DVD! Whoa!
I mean, isn't that the new killer, the Blight? Except he runs into a fucking wall.
Fuck. God damn it, I hate that you're right.
Oh, and the new killer, the Blight, his power is getting a concussion.
Getting a concussion?
From CTE. Yeah, I'm fucking
It's so bad. Like, and the thing is, like, I don't know how good or bad he is, but every single time I've seen someone use that killer on stream, he looks severely underpowered. It's like, bro, you're just going around getting, like, IQ damage, like, what was I supposed to do?
Right after they released Pyramid Head too, by the way. Who's like,
I mean, they
possibly
knew he
one
was
of the
busted.
most powerful killers ever made. On the
Alright,
topic
and
of
the
horror
thing-
movies.
They couldn't change anything about him to make him weak. They can do a numbers thing, but even then, it's just like, if you made him weak, you'd piss off an entire fan base.
Exactly.
But to change, yeah. Oh man, I don't want to immediately go into
Silent Hill
let's
movies.
just go there.
Silent Hill movies.
Yeah, they exist.
There's something. They're not Resident Evil movies by any chance. You know, definitely not that quality. Not that quality.
I will say something maybe a bit controversial here.
No. I want you to say it.
I kind of enjoyed Silent Hill, the Silent Hill 1 movie, and Silent Hill 2 movie, which is just Silent Hill 3. It's kind of weird. I really like the Resident Evil films. I really like them.
Okay, you called me
I
stupid.
have.
You've called me stupid for liking
so-
Underworld.
Listen. I never for Underworld, the movie with the vampire
All
in the
of
leather
them.
outfit.
All of them. I like all of them.
Yeah, that's fine. I
Okay.
don't remember you for that.
I thought one of you guys got angry at me.
Maybe
for
one of
liking
you, but
Underworld.
I've never watched Underworld, so I have no. If I did, I have no right to have made fun of you for that.
We should.
I think I only ever called you dumb for liking any movie after Underworld 3.
I think they're all good. But yeah, Resident Evil and Underworld, underrated.
The Resident Evil films are so fucking fun to me as a person because of, I guess, partly because of my own evolution with them, with Paul W.S. Anderson and his fucking genius that just goes over people's heads that nobody could have known until at least the fourth movie, really. Because the first movie comes around and you're like, this isn't the worst, but there's some mistakes here. Then the second movie comes around, the same fucking weird shit pops up. They're like, this clearly wasn't supposed to come across this way. Like, the weird cliffhanger not being addressed from the last movie, time skips, just the general absurdity that comes with some of the scenes. You're just like, what the fuck is this? And then the third one rolls around. You're like, he's just doing it again. Why is he not learning? And then the fourth comes around. I was like, wait a minute. No, he's doing this on purpose. This is auteurism occurring right in front of me. These aren't mistakes. These are self-conscious, self-aware choices. This is not, the movie isn't wrong. He didn't fail to achieve his goal with the film. This is exactly how he wanted it. This is this man's vision. This is quite literally what it's supposed to be. It got to the point when it went to the last movie. I started it up. I was on a plane. I was like, they have the last movie. There's no reason for me not to watch it. I started up and like, I bet it's not gonna even. Because the final cliffhanger in the last one was fucking them going to the White House and Wesker being a good guy, and they're just like, looks like we've got to defend ourselves. And then it pans out and the whole fucking White House is under siege by this entire thing. And I'm like, the movie's gonna completely, I was like, when the movie starts, it's gonna fucking completely ignore that. It's gonna have some voiceover that explains why she's here and not there. And I was greeted with a better answer than I thought, because she starts and she's like, we lost the White House, blah, blah, blah. Wesker actually betrayed us. I'm like, they, in between, off-screen, remade Wesker into the villain. Because he was supposed to have converted and been like, I guess we have to have this uneasy alliance. But then it's like, actually, no, this was his plan. Fuck you. He actually betrayed us. And then she's in some fuck off middle of nowhere place that has nothing to do with the last film's cliffhanger. I was like, joy, this is going to be great. And I had so much fun, which is why I'm really looking forward to the Monster Hunter movie. It might not be a good movie. It might not even be a good Monster Hunter movie.
But will
I'm just gonna go.
Will it be a good Paul W.S. Anderson movie?
Will I have fun with it? Will I enjoy it? Am I going to be able to glean some childlike joy from this, like I did from the Resident Evil franchise? I hope the answer is yes. Also, as Resident Evil, my favorite bit has to be, I think it's in the fourth Resident Evil film, maybe the fifth, where this guy is running. So there's this black guy in the movie, right? Big and buff. I don't know who he's supposed to be. I don't think he's based on any game character. Where he's running and like they're supposed to be like, oh yeah, and he's like, he's survived like 2 near-death experiences at this point. You're like, oh yeah, they're not gonna kill off the black guy, and he gets like dragged into like a drain pipe or whatever under the sewers, and he's just like looks up at I forget what her fucking name is, Alice, and he's like, just get out of here, and then he gets dragged under, and you're like, they fucking killed off the black guy. Post-credit scene is him, and this character never appears for the rest of the series, is him coming out of the sewers, out of a giant drainage pipe, like a badass with a fucking gun in his hand, like after like having fought through God knows how many zombies are in that sewer. And he just stands out and like looks at the aircraft carrier off in the distance that they were trying to get to, and sees like all like the people landing on it and arriving on it, and he's just like, yeah, we did it. And I'm just like, you actually survived this, you fucking madman. Paul W.S. made us think the black man was gonna survive, then killed him, then told us no, he's actually alive though. Which reminds me of fucking, I think it's the second last movie where they're underneath this ice sheet in this secret fucking facility, right? That's just continuously testing more and more strains of the T-virus or whatever, right? Where
Go ahead.
Where Barry has a literal Christ moment.
Huh.
Where Barry is like, they're like, they're like fucking the 2 main villains, or the 3 main bad guys, which I think are Jill, who's mind possessed at that point, and Wesker and the Hispanic woman from Fast and the Furious, the actress, what's her name?
I don't know. I know who you're talking about. The one sassy looking one.
The one woman who's known for playing sassy Hispanic women.
Yeah.
Was she Fast and Furious 6?
It was in Fast and Furious, yeah.
Michelle Rodriguez. Where Michelle Rodriguez's character, which by the way, Michelle Rodriguez's character is originally from like the second film where she fucking dies, but this is a clone of Michelle Rodriguez. That's evil.
What?
And it's not Michelle Rodriguez herself, but it might as well have been. Where they're slow walking and they're like, we're not going to be able to get to the fucking elevator in time, and they're fucking slow walking the entire time. And so they're just like, we're not going to leave without you, Barry. And he's like, yo, go, because fucking, that's how you make a movie, right? You got to have a character sacrifice themselves to artificially inflate the emotional value of your film.
Right.
And so he goes to face them, and this is just classic fucking Barry with his fucking red, like, jumper vest on and his big iron on his hip. And he goes to face them, the three of them. One of them can move faster than a fucking bullet, and all of them are armed to the teeth. And it's just him. And he goes like, I'm going to stop them. Or it's like, I'm going to give you guys time. And he turns the corner, and they both face each other. And he just starts shooting at them from down the hall. And they are like dodging it or like just taking the bullets. And then they unload on him, and it cuts back to Barry like still shooting. To Barry still fucking shooting. And as he gets like lit up, and like he falls back in slow motion, right? And you're like, Barry, no. And then he gets back up again and starts shooting at them again, and they have to unload another volley. You're like, Barry, you're a fucking hero. And he falls out of frame, and you're like, oh man, Barry's dead. And he gets up again. He gets up a second time. This man fucking resurrects on screen twice in a row. He gets up fucking like 3 times. That man just fucking shoots at them.
What?
And he gets lit up a third time to finally kill him, because he just gets up and starts shooting, and you're like, Barry, you fucking madman. You already had your fucking shot where you courageously like get back up after being fucking riddled with bullets. How the fuck did you get up again? You absolute crazy asshole.
It's because he's Barry fucking Burton, dude. You can't stop Barry B.
I just saw that and I was like, it's the Trinity. He gets up 3 times. Christ resurrected fucking 2 days. He gets up twice. Christ is God, the Spirit, and fucking
Barry Burton.
Christ.
Did he become Jesus?
Fucking Barry. Barry is the Trinity. No, he's not Jesus. Because that's just 1/3 of the Trinity. Barry is the Trinity.
What?
Fuck
He
you.
becomes the fucking Trinity?
Oh my god.
That's how I fucking believe it, because he fucking resurrects twice, because fuck you, Christ. You get 1 resurrection, he gets twice. Twice symbolizes 2. 2 is 2 days. That's how fucking long Jeezy Boy was out or something. And
Jeezy boy.
gets lit up 3 times. That's fucking 1, 2, 3, baby. That's the Trinity. I don't know why my mind went there when I saw that shot and when I saw that fucking sequence, but I loved it. And it's been forever ingrained in my head. The logic is absolute nonsense, but I cannot stop thinking of it that way.
I'm just glad that you have a series that you can enjoy as much as this. Yeah, and I feel like we're not going to be able to top it this time. So we've been going for a while. Might be good to end it here.
Sure, I don't mind.
All right, yeah,
Oh,
about to hit the 2 minutes, the 2 hour mark.
I didn't speak too much, but I was fine listening. It was fun.
Wait, who are you?
Me.
Who the fuck?
Oh,
Your mom.
How the fuck did you get in this
oh
chat?
hi, Mom. How's it going?
How the fuck
going
did you get in
fine,
this chat? Get
sweetie.
out of here.
It's
Oh,
fine,
what's?
sweetie.
Oh yeah, how's my stepdad treating you?
What? Nani Disca.
Is he still giving you the injections?
Yes.
I hear they're pretty naughty. Don't worry.
Okay, so as always, it's me.
You said horror movies, right?
It's me, Kaiju. If you're watching this on Twitch, there is my YouTube handle, and if you're watching this on YouTube, just look up twitch.tv/KaijuJacket567. There's my Twitter
I'll
handle.
be sure to check that on
and,
Pornhub too.
And Cross.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was
I-
Cross.
Yep. I am as always. I am Crossstar, the man beyond time and space, and I have just unlocked the access to the to the backyard.
Oh shit.
That's a reference to fucking Guilty Gear, boys.
Get it? It's Guilty Gear. Am I cool yet?
That's a Guilty Gear lore reference. Only the coolest
So
kids
pumped.
know the extensive bullshit lore of Guilty Gear.
Yeah, and
Oh,
there's
yeah.
and there's this one guy who won't fucking stream yet. I guess his name is Crom or something.
Yeah, I fucking hate Crom. Crom sucks.
Former streamer.
Fuck our
Yeah,
characters.
former streamer or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that guy.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I
just you were introducing the rest of everybody, right?
Yeah, and the last person historical.
Hello, I don't fucking exist.
Okay. As always, come on next.
Oh
time.
yeah, I forgot. I'm Palm. Catch me on Pornhub, and I'll be showing up a new video with Kaiju. He doesn't know it yet. It'll be while he's asleep.
No.
That explains the soreness I've been feeling.
Oh, it's all right. You're gonna be a star.
Anyway, as always, this was not Poggers, and bye.